We have a tornado emergency outside of the Houston Metro, just off of the Sam Houston Beltway there, moving around the Deer Park area. It's just past Deer Park, moving towards the upper San Jacinto Bay, north of Baytown. We will be continuing with coverage right here on WeatherNation as this confirmed tornado progresses. Again, a tornado emergency means that this is a life-threatening situation. You want to be seeking shelter if you're anywhere in the area. We've got a view from LaPorte, Texas here. You can't see hardly anything because if we look at the radar signature, it is completely shrouded by heavy rainfall. So you will not be able to see this coming. You need to be seeking shelter immediately. We always appreciate video, but this is not something you want to risk your life to try and see at this point. You want to be seeking shelter in an interior room, lowest level of your home. That's going to be a basement. That is going to be an excellent place, somewhere under a stairway or within a bathroom. Bring with you your shoes. Make sure your shoes are on because you don't want to be walking over debris barefoot. If you have a bicycle helmet nearby, that is also a very good thing to have with you. Take a look at the debris signature. We call this a debris ball for a reason because it's just the lower part of the tornado that is ripping up anything it comes into contact with and lofting it into the air, and it creates this whole shroud of debris around the storm. And we've seen this tracking around the area over the last several scans from Pearland, excuse me, just to the northeast from there. We've seen this debris ball continue to develop, and it looks like it's not quite as organized at this point, but it's still a very dangerous area. So if you live in Brownwood, this is an urgent message to seek shelter immediately. If you are watching us on TV, on your Roku app, or whatever you may be watching us on, make sure you bring your phone with you to your shelter. When you get there, you can download the WeatherNation app and you can watch us live streaming on the app there. So take a look at around the Baytown to Channelview area. I want to get the name of that highway there. Looks like that is Highway 330 on the other side of the San Jacinto Bay. If we just clear this off briefly, I want to look at this area. So right around here is where we have that debris ball. It's about to cross over the upper San Jacinto Bay, and it'll be coming in contact with, this is Highway 330. So 330 here. This is the highway just between the Channelview area and Baytown. You'll be wanting to seek shelter immediately. This is moving into a very industrial area, so not necessarily within an area of high population, but still many people may still be here. So if you're in a warehouse, you want to find somewhere that has secure walls. You don't want an exterior wall next to you when you are taking shelter around this area. As it crosses over the bay, we'll likely still see some of that strength of the rotation continue. We've even had some of the indications of the debris ball possibly weakening. Some of the velocity signatures are still very strong now, but they have been stronger in its history. So we may see sometimes it's stronger than other times, weaker than other times, but just because it weakens doesn't mean it cannot strengthen again. So anywhere downstream of this is the Cove area. Let's add on all the towns we can here. If you're around the Worcester area, Cedar Bayou, Eldon, Mont Bellevue there, up towards Old River Winfrey, we've seen some areas. Dave has some information.
Yeah, just throwing up some of the maps here. It's going in towards this Cody area. You're saying that's Route 330 right there. It's going to be crossing 330 just a little east of that intersection with I-10. You can also see I-10. This thing's going to be crossing on I-10 east of that intersection with 330 near the Cody area there, C-O-A-D-Y, and also near McNair, right where that I-10, that I is in I-10 right there, Kit. That does appear to be the McNair area, and it is going into a bit more of an industrial area, like you were saying, a little more of a rural area eventually here once it moves further northeast, but as of right now, it is looking like it is affecting that southeast portion of the metro area. So that just to the northeast of Deer Park, that McNair area there, that Cody area there, just to the east of that intersection between 330 and I-10 is really where people are going to have to take precaution. And I mean, get into a safe space, immediately because we could have a strong damaging tornado at your house in the next few minutes here as this storm system and as this tornadic circulation moves towards the northeast. We've already had evidence of it prompting that tornado emergency.
And this area is all too familiar with extreme weather. Of course, you have a lot of hurricanes, but this is not something where you would want to evacuate. Wherever you are, you settle down in place. You do not move until that storm has moved on. This tornado emergency is until 3 o'clock Central Time, so we still have quite a bit of time until we see that until we see that warning canceled. So that's going to be something that is persistent over the next 25 minutes or so. So Worcester, I'm going to zoom into your area, Brownwood as well. We've got a tornado basically knocking on your doorstep. Don't answer the door at this point. This is where you want to be sheltering in place. We could see debris continue to be falling from the storm. It's not something that you always think about with a tornado, but there's also the debris fallout that happens after you've gone through and wrecked a lot of property. You can sometimes see falling debris that can also injure you, so you want to remain indoors. Dave, I'm seeing some indications here that the debris might be lessening a little bit. Of course, it's just starting to cross over San Jacinto Bay.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, we do have indications that that debris ball there, the coefficient, is weakening, but because it's going over the water right now, it's probably just lofting up the water across the San Jacinto Upper Bay there. So I would not let your guard down because that debris ball is going down. If we look at that velocity again, you could certainly see that it is very, very intense right over that Worcester area. And again, just southwest of Cody, that C-O-A-D-Y, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing that, but it is going right to that area right there towards Cody. Going to cross 330 there. That's going to be near the Texas Department of Public Safety there, and then eventually continuing northeast. There's a Buc-ee's right there, it looks like, on I-10, just east of the intersection with 330. Yeah, right along there on I-10, that Buc-ee's right there looks to be right in the path here of this storm. So if you know where that Buc-ee's is along I-10, just east of the intersection with 330, if you're anywhere near that, if you are especially just to the southwest of that, you have a large tornado coming your way right now, and you need to take your tornado precautions. This is not a drill. You need to put as many walls between you and the outside as possible. If you get underground, great. That's even better. But a very dangerous situation. And yeah, we do continue to track what could be a very violent tornado there on the ground.
Certainly a violent tornado. And Dave, I want to take a step back and let's just get some context on this situation today. As we've got a tornado watch in effect for this area. You've got some details on
that. We do. Let's go ahead and talk about the big picture here, because here is that tornado watch. And you can see it does extend all the way through the Houston metro area and continues to move east here. So we're going to be looking at Lake Charles, Port Arthur. You're under tornado watch. You're not under the gun as of just yet. Right now, it looks like just towards the south and eastern portions here of that Houston metro. The Storm Prediction Center has an enhanced risk. Now, you notice it is pretty confined towards the Gulf. That's where our instability is. We have so much shear, so much energy in the upper levels of the atmosphere. We have plenty amounts of it, but what we don't have so much is the instability unless you're right by the Gulf, and that is where we have temperatures that are warm enough humidity in the air, there's enough instability in the atmosphere to kick off these storms. That's why we're seeing these tornadoes form around the Houston area here, and you can see that enhanced risk carries east. So here's the wind potential. This is straight line damaging winds, which can be equally as dangerous as tornadoes. This heightened threat for straight line damaging winds going to be for southeastern Louisiana, kind of the bayou country here, up towards New Orleans, Baton Rouge right on the edge of that, but even back towards the west here, we're going to be dealing with straight line wind damage coming down I-10, Mobile, and eventually later on tonight as this line of storms pushes on through. Here's a tornado risk. It's a 10% risk, basically saying 10% chance of a tornado within 25 miles. It's already happened in a number of spots here, so we know it's possible. We would not be surprised to see that actually increased. We'll watch, but in any case, there is a chance for strong tornadoes as well, and that means EF2 or more or higher. Those are significant tornadoes. Those are the deadliest tornadoes. So this is a very, very dangerous situation. Here we are Tuesday night. Again, there's that line of storms moving on through. Again, to the north of the warm front in the cooler air, the severe threat won't be nearly as high. It's right along the Gulf Coast here where we have that instability. leading to that chance of strong damaging storms and potentially strong damaging tornadoes as well. Kit, let's go ahead and I want to get back to that radar right now and take a look here. That velocity couplet looking very, very menacing, very mean right now here.
Certainly, and we've seen the tornado emergency discontinued. We have still a confirmed tornado, but you see that most recent warning box, the more interior one, the light pink rather than the purple color there. That's an indication that we no longer have an active tornado emergency in place, but still this is a confirmed observed tornado with considerable damage. This is where we're going to see the likelihood of roofs being significantly damaged. Mobile homes will be ripped apart, and we will see warehouses. This is a very urban area. They will likely be significantly damaged. This is just south of the Cody area here. I want to read off some local neighborhoods around the region here, as we'll likely see the places around the village: Quail Hollow, Decker Terrace, Highland Farms, Northridge, Allenbrook, Bay Town Center. These are all just neighborhoods. I'm honestly getting this off of internet maps, but this is a concerning situation here. This will eventually cross over I-10, and this will likely cause damage between here and there as it continues. Now, I-10 corridor not quite as densely populated, so we're not getting quite as much of a debris signature with this. Plus, it just crossed over the upper San Jacinto Bay area. But let's take a look over the last 20 minutes or so. That whole area where we see the debris ball is where we've had that tornado passing through recently. Just circled that zone because there's a little bit of clutter outside of that isn't tornado debris, but the one within that circled area is where we've had the tornado pass through recently. Looking at the radar, just heavy rain around this area, so you're not going to see this tornado coming. You want to be seeking shelter immediately. If you're anywhere between Gilbert Landing and Eldon along the I-10 corridor, you want to be heading to the lowest level of your home, most interior room of your home. If you're at your place of business, maybe you're watching us on the app or you're watching us on a TV screen as you're getting an oil change or something, you want to be heading to an interior room. Put as many sturdy walls between you and the outside as possible. Now, of course, Dave, I think you have some information.
Yeah, Ken, I'm trying to get a precise location here on this. It looks like, again, that Buc-ee's area there. This is going to be the intersection of I-10 and John Martin Road here. There's a few car dealerships in that area. It is right near that, yes, just east here of Gilbert Landing, east of that McNair area, west of Eldon. So that is exactly where it is going. There, that Buc-ee's right there on the intersection of I-10 and John Martin Road. That's what we're looking at right now. That's trying to get the exact location here. That is going to be where our damaging tornado likely is as it does continue to move off towards the northeast. And it does look like it's going to move into the Meadow Lake Village subdivision potentially there, just northeast of that intersection. So if you know anyone, Meadow Lake Village there, that subdivision, and eventually the Goose Creek Memorial High School area there, that is also a place that could be under the gun here, trying to get some precise locations here as this very, very dangerous storm moves towards the northeast. Does look like from that latest radar scan, maybe a broadening out there of that rotation. So that could be some good news, but it could be just a sign that the tornado is occluding. It does take a while for this to happen as well. And so still could be a damaging tornado. Again, near that Buc-ee's on I-10, near that, I believe it was the, I want to say Cody area there, just west of Eldon and just west of the Mont Bellevue area. And there it is. Yeah, you can see Mont Bellevue. That's one of the bigger cities right there, or bigger populated areas. It is moving towards that area, or at least just towards the west there. Again, Baytown Soccer Complex, and it does look like the Ferris Airport Goose Creek Memorial High School, if you are familiar with this area.
Yeah, and looking around some of these regions here, there's a mall that's right there next to the I-10 area that is under the area of rotation, it looks like. I'm going to read out some of the local areas here. We've got the Community Toyota, Community Community Honda, Baytown Nissan, all within that I-10 corridor where we're seeing this tornado likely passing right now. So if you're familiar with any of those landmarks, you are very close to the center of this rotation and need to be taking shelter immediately. Let's look at a broader view here, as now we sort of have 3 tiers of warnings. You want to look at the most interior one. I'm going to do some fiddling here to try and highlight that more clearly, so bear with me for the moment. It looks like the tornado emergency and the confirmed tornado warning have both been allowed to be supplanted by just a standard tornado warning. This is a good sign. This means that the National Weather Service agrees that the threat has significantly reduced, but it is still a threat that it could recycle and still put down a tornado. So we still want to be very cautious. Good news, we don't see debris at the moment, but we could still have very heavy rain occluding any view of that tornado. So I want to stay here on the velocity views. That's where we see still the very weakened area of rotation here just south of the I-10 corridor. It'll be passing to the north of Eldon, north of Mount Bellevue area over the next 5 to 10 minutes here. We're coming up to a stopping point here on WeatherNation. We'll stay with you for the next moment here, but this whole area is within a region where we could see tornadoes developing throughout the afternoon today. So you want to keep an eye on all of the situation here. This whole line of thunderstorms is beginning to move towards the Beaumont area. Houston, you're now behind the line, so we're really reducing your threat for any tornadic activity. So this is some good news for you, but it's going to follow that I-10 corridor. So if you live anywhere between Houston and Beaumont, for the next hour, you need to really stay with us here on WeatherNation. There's some things you can do ahead of the storm. You can get a bicycle helmet, a football helmet, anything to protect your head. Make sure you have your shoes on. If you don't like wearing shoes on carpet, you can vacuum afterwards. So you want to put those shoes on so you don't walk over the debris in the wake of the storm if it does unfortunately come to your house. Making sure you know exactly where in your home is the most sturdy area, interior room, lowest level. We'll be back in a few minutes.